What's going on, awesome people? Man, it's been so long since I've seen all y'all. A whopping 3 hours. Great to have you back. It's awesome people, Instagram Live. Don't be confused. I know this is a backdrop for Countdown to Freedom in Iran, but we just can't be doing set changes. We got a lot to do. And so right now we're focusing on bringing awareness to all the amazing individuals that are participating in July 3rd Azadi Festival. And my special guest for this particular episode is somebody that many of you for sure know. I can't imagine you having followed me in the last 10 months or have followed what we've been doing at Unite and Conquer, and that the name Sareh Kazemi doesn't ring a bell. So you've seen her, you've heard her name, but you might not know her story. And so tonight, for the next 30 minutes, I want you to sit back and I want you to enjoy getting to know this incredible person, which I have so much respect for, so much admiration for, and has truly lifted a 100-ton off of my shoulders by helping in all the things that we've been working on. So between her and my other sister, Mona Hayri, it's just been a trio that really frankly has kept me sane, and so we're able to laugh together, cry together, support each other. When one of us is down, the other two lifts the other person up. So this is truly one of the best things that ever happened to me, is getting to know Sareh and Mona, and of course everybody else. But these two individuals have truly been like a rock to me, and so just wanted to kind of start off and just mention my gratitude before I get on with her. So before I bring Sareh on, let me go ahead and give a little professional bio, and then the rest she can share on her own. She was born in Tehran, raised in the good old US of A. As a woman who immigrated to the States with her family as a child, the Woman Life Freedom Anthem resonates deeply with her, and she's been committed to introducing a free and secular Iran to her own family. She's a licensed pharmacist for 15 years. Sareh has led in various roles, most recently serving as Director of Scientific Communications for Janssen Infectious Diseases and Vaccines. I didn't even know that she works. This is actually good news. So she does actually work. Fantastic. I'm just joking. She works extremely hard. Amazing wife, amazing mother to Sabojun. She's an avid fitness enthusiast with experience in collegiate sports, strength training, and nutrition coaching, which is why she literally can kick my ass. It's wonderful, which is why I don't talk back to her. It's for sure a no-no. Her professional and personal interests are driven by her passion for fostering empathy and authenticity in communication and relationships. That line is truly Sareh Kazemi in a nutshell. Empathy, authenticity, clear lines of communication. This woman can, and just fostering relationships. I mean, like really like a awesome person. So yeah, so we're grateful to have her as one of the ambassadors. I mean, now she's got the title of Uniter. She's an ambassador. She's just a rock star. So let's go ahead and bring her on. And speaking of rock star, her father, Sareh Kazemi, Durud bar shoma qurban. He's going to be doing some poetry on July 3rd. Here we go. Make some virtual noise. This is going to be a good conversation. It might be emotional. I'm not going to lie, I opened up a little bit of wine. It's been a long day.
Sadami Manjan, hi.
Hi, Sergeant. How are you? You're still doing the giggling from this morning.
I can't. I'm a little delirious, but that intro was way too much. I don't deserve it, but no. It's been an honor. Like I never thought I would enjoy doing what we've been doing, given how devastating the situation is. Yeah. But truly, it's just been such a pleasure working with you, Mona, the Uniters, now the ambassadors. I think others have said it. It's just been incredible.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride. It's a roller coaster that has a lot of highs, a lot of lows, heartbreaks, laughter, like a lot of everything. I mean, it's pretty much what life is in a nutshell as well. But which is why it's so important to spend it with people that you admire, that you respect, that you're inspired by, that you're motivated by, And that's what individuals like you do for me. So it's amazing.
The feeling's mutual, Iman, completely. Yeah, it's been a nice dynamic. We've been able to kind of push each other forward. And like you said, you know, someone else picks up when someone else is down. You've certainly been there for me and others. And I can only, you know, do my best to be the same for you and others as well. It's really been a good environment to do what we do in.
Certainly. I appreciate you. So for those who don't know you very well, I mean, I give a very general little bio, but let's say nobody has ever had the pleasure of knowing you. Give a little background about yourself and then kind of walk us through the journey of why you've been fighting so staunchly in this revolution, and even before, when I didn't even know you. I'm sure you were fighting a lot. You didn't just wake up September. So just kind of give us a little background and get us up to speed on what has led you to here.
Sure. So like you said in my little bio, I was born in Iran, but I moved here along with my entire family, my mother, my father, my sister, who's 6 years older than me. We were fortunate enough to come together to the United States when I was 6 years old. So it was, you know, 6 years after the revolution, because I was born in '79. And, you know, I came here at a very important time. Obviously, my parents, who I'm so grateful for, had the, you know, forethought to recognize that opportunity would be limited for two young women in Iran, and somehow gave up their entire life, as I'm sure, you know, resonates with many of you on the line, or they gave up their entire livelihood, everything they had worked hard for, to come here to the United States to create opportunities for my sister and I. And so when we came here, we didn't really come here with a sense of pressure, but more so with a sense of gratitude. And we've carried that gratitude forward ever since, to really try and make something of ourselves, to take advantage of this privilege we've been given to come here, work, live together, and to make a better life than what we would have had elsewhere. And so, you know, that's really shaped the foundation of who I am. And it always has, and it's really shaping who I choose to be as a wife, as a mother to my daughter, and really who I am today as a freedom fighter. Obviously, I don't have this as part of my resume. I'm not an expert in it, but as I mentioned, it's the core of who I am. I was given this privilege, I was given this opportunity, and I just can't close my eyes and recognize that there are millions others in my exact boat who didn't have that opportunity. And I feel that with privilege comes responsibility, and it's my responsibility to do everything in my power to give that same opportunity to others that are longing for it. And to be honest, Iman, I might be a little bit different because, you know, I obviously have always cared about this in Iran, but this has been the most active that I have been ever. And I think I realized why on one of your Awesome People lives yesterday with Kamyarjan, when you were talking about ranting, and you were talking about hope, and I realized, you know, this time it really isn't about hope for me. I think previously it was always about hope, but this time it's more like there is no going back. And so hope isn't my driver. It's not my motivator, because hope wanes, but our efforts can't wane. And so I realized that this time is a little bit different for me, because there is no going back, and it has to move forward. And so my driver is finding balance in this, right? How can I maintain my life and still be as active as I can? That's a long answer, but I hope it answered it.
No, it's great. So, you know, one thing that I loved about in the very beginning, when we didn't actually become friends and then family, one of the earliest memories that I have is during the protests at Torch of Friendship. You know, you rolled up and your father was there, and so every time it was your father and then you coming out of the car.
Yeah. It's okay.
And I've always seen so much of my dad and your dad, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay.
One glass of wine. Shit. Holy crap, dude. It's been an emotional wreck of a day in general. This wine was not a good idea. But anyways,
it's okay.
feel like I feel like so much like family is just so important to you. What is the earliest that you remember fighting for Iran? Considering that I see your parents have always been at every one of these protests, the shirts, the flags, your dad on stage reading poetry, like memorizing like Shakespearean stuff, kind of, you know, like what is the earliest memory that you have of like, I'm fighting for something here?
Yeah, I'll give you two. My mom, in prior uprisings, my mom previously went to Iran every year. We have family there. Her mom lived there. She would go regardless of the situation. There is no stopping my mom when she wants to do something. My mom would go to Iran and be out there with the revolutionaries screaming and chanting. I remember this. I remember sitting here in fear when my mom would tell me her stories of like going to Iran as a US citizen, but going out and chanting, not just from the house window, but literally on the streets. It's just in her. And so that's my first memory of my mom. And as far as my dad goes, my dad has been an active member of the South Florida Qanun for as long as I can remember, up until he just didn't have it in him to fight anymore. And he has been anti-Islamic regime for as long as I can remember. And back then, I didn't understand why he would put himself through the frustration. You know, I'm like, Dad, when are you going to stop fighting this fight? Like, it's you know, and I'm embarrassed to say it now, but I was young. I didn't understand. I didn't understand what sacrifices he made, even though I carried it. I didn't fully understand the sacrifices he made until I became a parent myself. And now that I am, I fully understand why. And I see it in myself. I see my mom and my dad in myself. I didn't ever expect on that first day to walk to that October 8th or October 1st protest and expect to grab the megaphone and start being a lead chant. But I walked there, Iman, and it's like all of that flashed in front of me, and I realized like this is who I am. And at the time, this was a woman, well, it is the first, you know, like largest woman-led revolution. I am not gonna not let a woman be leading the chant and have play. I just needed to be there. Not to say anything against our male compatriots who were fantastic chant leads, but we needed to have representation. Representation matters. And it just kind of all the puzzle pieces came together for me on that day. Like I realized I'm not the same person anymore. I have to take a more active role.
I was gonna say that the second memory that I have is, you know, I was looking around to see who's like active, and then I was like, who is that girl that is so confidently on the megaphone? Because I've always mentioned that for those who know what I do, I've been on stage for 25 years, and like you put me on an event stage and concert stage, and that's my home, you know. I never ever have been very comfortable in being on a stage for protests. Like it's just not, because I've never done it before. I've always supported, but it's always been behind the scenes. Florida, I just kind of became the default guy, you know. And so for me, it was really uncomfortable to have these type of talks other than Beftekhar Shadi, Beftekhar, like it went from Shadi upbeat to doing protest talks. So I wasn't comfortable. And then so I was like seeking people that were strong and like vocal, and you were screaming literally and figuratively that role. And so that's another memory that I have from you going back to 8-9 months ago. Now you mentioned how you were with regards to your parents and how you are now with Sabo. Sabo, your daughter is 11?
No, she's 8. She's going to be 9 in October.
She's 8 or 9. And every time that I've seen her, she's been like a very involved person in this thing. Like she was, you know, sometimes you have children that are shy and they don't want to be there, and they're like, Mom, when do I go? When do I go? I've never seen Sabo like complain about being where you and your parents and your orang and the family are there fighting. Can you kind of like share with me your 8-year-old daughter's perspective during this revolution? Like how has her perspective changed in the last 10 months? Is she trying to fight? Is she done with it? Is she trying to say the same things you were saying about your parents? Like, Mom, what are you doing? I'd love to hear about what you see from her.
No, I'd like to say this, and I think my dad's watching, and Saba's probably sitting right next to you. So hi, Saba. I want to say she's proud of me. I feel like Saba is looking at me with pride in her eyes. I know that sounds very arrogant to say, but I empower Saba to share her feelings, and I don't like push any of my thoughts on her. But when she talks to me, she wants more protest. First, she wants to understand what's going on, and I'm transparently have shared, you know, in a balanced way, everything that I know about Iran, and like to, you know, to an appropriate amount with her, obviously. But I share with her the struggles, and I share with her the principles that we're fighting for, and how everyone has a role, and that our role should never be reduced. You know, everything counts. Even a small pebble creates ripples in the water, right? And if we have multiple small pebbles making differences, we eventually could have a massive wave. And I actually think that is the route moving forward, because we're not going to have one massive bomb dropped in the ocean to create the wave we need. And so she knows that, you know, all of our efforts matter. And, you know, she asked, Mommy, when is going to be the next protest? And, you know, even at home, she still chants, you know, Mahsa Amini, Zan Zandagi Azadi, and like she continues to do it. And, you know, when we talk about it, in the beginning, it was more so like wanting to understand, and now she understands, and she's kind of trying to now understand why our protests have evolved into what we're doing online. And, you know, with Countdown, she watches all of them. She's excited to know when I'm going to be on them. And now she is so excited to go to Azadi Festival. Like, I'm so excited to take my whole family. We're all going. My nephew Gussie, who's a two-year-old golden doodle, is going to be there. And, you know, she's excited about it. And I think she gets it. And I'm so thrilled to be able to share with her all of the cultural elements that I've not been able to up until this point, you know? So much of what we've been talking about in our chats, like every time I hear it, some of the, you know, updates you've shared, even today, like Saba's the first person that comes to my mind, because I've not had the opportunity to share any of this with her before. Obviously, we've not gone back to Iran, and I don't think I can go back for some time now. So to be able to introduce her to some of the cultural elements that I haven't yet been able to do so is just, you know, a happiness I can't put into words. Someone tell the communication person to shut up. I talk so much.
No. Basically, all we're trying to do as ambassadors and allies and vendors and sponsors and performers of Azadi Festival is do our best to bring a little bit of Iran to DC until we can take everywhere around the world back to where we need to, and that's Iran. What was it about the Azadi Festival that at some point a month or two ago, other than saying, my brother's an idiot, and if I don't help him out, he's going to be screwed. Which I'm sure crossed your mind. At some point, you're telling Mona, dude, this guy's an idiot. I don't know what the hell he does to us, and he brings everybody else down. But other than the truth, if you were to kind of lie and say, oh, there's also these reasons why you decided to be a part of Azadi Festival, what would it be?
I mean, honestly, Iman, I think for the reason that I just described, one, for Saba, but two, you know, what got me was the fact that when you talk to anybody about why we don't have a free Iran right now, or why, you know, we as an Iranian diaspora, you know, can't achieve a particular objective, the first answer anyone gives is a lack of unity, right? And to me, it's like this Azadi Festival is our opportunity to put our money where our mouth is, put action in place of words. And as I said it in one of my reels, I just said, like, isn't community, I mean, I know it's not the exact definition, but isn't it coming together to unite? I mean, that's exactly the mission of the Azadi Festival. And if unity is what we're lacking, and we know it's not something that can just develop overnight, we need to start somewhere. And why not unite amongst the things that we have the most in common, and that is the best of us, right? Our culture, our history, the things we all really love and cherish about who we are deep down. Let's forget our differences and focus on the things that we all have in common, right? And that's what, to me, Azadi Festival, as you envisioned it was. And yes, I did think you were crazy. I think I told you from the beginning, like, I have no idea what you're doing, Iman. But damn it, I'm going to help you, okay?
And you said it like in the most professional and nice and like PC way as possible. Well, I still remember reading it, and I'm like, I don't have a good answer to her question, but I'm gonna do this, and whoever is willing to help, that's the portion of me, Wissam, you know. And that's pretty much what happened. It's like I first talk about it, and then I figure out how to make it happen afterwards. It's not cool. You're not supposed to put the carriage in front of the horse, but I keep on putting 10 carriage. Anyways, I'm an idiot, but I appreciate that at least I have individuals like you all to kind of like help me out to make it all happen, and we're gonna make it happen. It's gonna be great. And so when Azadi Festival happens, then we get to look forward to a free Iran. And I want to ask you first and foremost, what is the first thing that you're gonna do when you fly into Tehran, and you get to experience Iran again for the first time after many years?
Yeah, well, obviously, I'm going to go visit my family and give them a big hug and just kind of like take a nice long sigh of relief, you know, for all of us, for me being able to be there, but more so for them to be able to hopefully move forward from here at a minimum without fear, without pressure, and with the ability to have a choice and input. That's my first wish. But after that, I truly want to travel across Iran. I've only ever gone into Tehran twice since I left. And I've only ever been able to be there for a maximum of, you know, a duration of 10 days, including travel. So like less than 7 days actually spent there. So I want to travel across Iran. I want to see every aspect of it. I want to see all of the regions. I want to take Paris with me, ideally, if I can, because she knows everything about everyone and everything. I mean, I would love to be able, literally, I'm not even kidding. I may even pay, like, I would offer to, like, all expense trip for Paris, June, if she would come with me, because
that would be the ultimate travel partner. I wish she was in this conversation right now, but yeah, that's smart. I like that.
Yeah, and I just want to learn, because I feel, you know, like I feel there is a layer of me that I don't even fully understand, because I've never had the opportunity to kind of understand my roots, and you know, and that's on me, like, to educate myself. But there's one thing to read, to get exposure, but there's another thing to experience it, and I just really want to experience it.
Yeah,
I want to experience all of Iran.
When it comes to Iran, actually pretty much to anything, there's nobody that I feel less intelligent around than Paris. Like, I feel like you moche everything Iranian history and culture, and like when she talks, I lose track, because it's like too much for me. I'm like, okay, I get it, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. When she talks, I'm like, oh God.
Yeah.
It
would be an amazing trip. And I see Ashley, she wants to join the crew. I know that every single ambassador and uniter at Unite and Conquer, this is the ultimate trip. And I hope that we all get to take one 747 Boeing all the way to Tehran, and we do a 1.5 month trip around Iran. But anyways,
my God.
Speaking of Azadi, what does a free Iran look to you, Sareh Kazemi?
Yeah, a free Iran to me is going back to, like, again, reinvigorating the best of us. And as Paris June has taught me, the fact that diversity and inclusion and equity and acceptance and the ability to live a life free from fear and pressure and torture and torment is what a free Iran to me lives. Reinstilling the basic freedoms and rights of people to then be able to have a clear mind to think forward on the next steps. Like, to me, it's the basics, right? Just a sigh of relief that I can go to work, and with the earnings that I make, I can afford a house and afford a car, and that what I'm making is a reasonable amount to be able to afford a living, to have choice, right? To have control over your own life. I mean, literally, those are the things that to me are the initial wins, that if we can get to that point, to give them the freedom to just breathe from life's pressure, to then have a clear mind to think through, what does a free and secular Iran mean to the people of Iran? It's not really up to me. Unless I'm there, it's up to them. So for me, that free Iran is a free people.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry. I was so into your answer, it like stopped. I didn't know what to say.
I know, I'm sorry. I don't usually stop short, but I didn't have anything else to say. That was it. Like, that's the truth.
As a last question for you, you know, like we've been in this fight. You know, we're doing our best to bring freedom to Iran. I look at individuals like you and our ambassadors and uniters as people that, like, we're in the trenches, you know, and when you're in these trenches, there's always just something in the back of your head as like, this is what I'm doing it for, this is who I'm doing it for. Who are the individuals and what are the things that you are saying to yourself that, like, I'm not stopping, I'm going to continue to fight because of this, this, and this?
Yeah, first and foremost, of course, my parents. I mean, I can't, I feel selfish even mentioning it, but my parents, it's the truth. You know, they gave up so much for me. My dad loves Iran, but he has chosen, I think he's only gone back maybe once. And for as long as I can remember, he chose not to go back, even though he could, because he didn't want to give a penny to the Islamic regime. Because he knew that every dollar, and he has the opportunity, but he's never invested in property in Iran. Because, you know, he can't take advantage of the poverty of people to make a living, to make money here. He doesn't have the ethics to be able to do that. And I want to give him a free conscience to go back to Iran, to love all the things he loved about Iran when we came here, and all the things that I know he misses. And same for my mom. They want to go back, and they want to go back and live a clear, conscious life and be able to spend time there, and I want to give that to them. That's one. And two, and not to make this a long answer, but I just had the opportunity to meet my husband's family for the first time, who lives in Iran, part of my husband's family that I hadn't met before. And I had the chance to talk to them freely about, like, life today and what this all means and what their thoughts are. And, you know, I fight for them, you know, and up until I met them, they were, you know, basically strangers to me. But so them, because they're family, but honestly, everyone else that's living there, that's just trying to live a life, that's trying to raise children. Can you imagine? I can't. Like, parents or people who are not just regular people trying to earn a living to survive. I just cannot put my head at night, put my head down at night thinking like I'm, you know, not going to do anything to support this. It just has to keep going. I know it's a very general answer, but it's the truth. Like, it's the people. It's the people of Iran across all regions that have been, you know, like, struggling. Just everyone. Like, one of the things they said to me was, for example, we were talking about stopping the nuclear deal and stopping any negotiations with funding transactions to Iran. And one thing they explained to me was, you know, the trajectory for growth, or the trajectory of, like, earnings for people in Iran was never stable or up. It was always down. But stopping funding to Iran increase the slope of that downward trajectory. So now they feel it even more now, right? I mean, like, never having the opportunity to even be stable, to me, is just not right. Like, you're constantly under stress. And that's what I fight for. It's like people to be able to take a deep breath of relief of, you know, pressures of life.
Yeah, basically it's for the people, power to the people. And, you know, that's what we're working on, is to continue to bring on more people on our team so that we can continue to be louder and stronger, and eventually be louder and stronger than the captors of our people, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly, Imajam.
Well, Sergeant, I appreciate you taking the time to share all this. We haven't had a nice long chat like this, at least over video, in a long time. So once again, appreciate you being so integrally involved with what we're doing at Unite and Conquer, especially the Azadi Festival. It's going to be amazing, and it's going to be amazing because of people like yourself and your whole family that continues to support in so many different ways. So
it's our
much
pleasure.
Love to you.
Our pleasure.
Much love to you.
Likewise,
Azadi. خداحافظ.
خداحافظ.